How long has NASCAR been racing in Martinsville Speedway? Since the very beginning, on July 4th, 1947, more than 4,000 fans jammed into the one-year-old dirt half-mile racetrack to watch Fonty Flock beat his brother Tim, Buck Baker, and sanctioning body founder Bill France himself in NASCAR's sixth ever race. The racetrack that Clay Earls carved out of the Virginia countryside was shaped like a paperclip and just 137 feet more than a half a mile in length. Other than an asphalt pave job in 1955 and the addition of more durable concrete lanes and the 12-degree banked corners 21 years later, Martinsville Speedway, the only remaining NASCAR venue from the 1947 season, is the same configuration it was when the gates were first opened. Oh, and then there's the addition of the grandstands to increase the seating capacity from the original total of 750 to the 85,000 it boasts today. Now a NASCAR property, Martinsville Speedway hosts the NASCAR Cup Series, Truck Series, Late Model Stock, and NASCAR Whelen Modified Tours. With short, tight, modestly banked corners, competition is tight. It can be quite physical. After 500 laps around Martinsville, few, if any, of the cars are unmarked. And race winners know they've earned their trophies. Tonight, it's the Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series. It's coming up next here on HBR TV. Race information for tonight. It is the Violence in the Ville 125 presented by Black Acid Custom Racing Apparel. 125 laps, stage break at lap 90. Again, everybody, I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, joined in the booth by Eric Dotson. Eric, welcome back to Martinsville, Virginia. Good to have you. How you been?
Doing good, buddy. How about you?
Doing just ducky. Excited to get this one underway. A lot of mixed feelings about this place. We've run a lot of high-speed tracks coming into Martinsville. I know we did run Wilkesboro, which was our first short track of the year, if I remember correctly. But coming into Martinsville, a tight racetrack, close quarters for sure. Curious to see how these guys handle things here at the Speedway. What are your thoughts coming into it?
I think it'll be a fun, good race. I got out there and ran a few laps, and the trucks actually handle pretty good. They're not loose like you normally have on the short track, so I think it'll provide for some good racing.
Did I lose you? Here we go. If anything loose on exit, we did see a couple of guys trying to get the power down a little bit too early. We've seen some issues with that, mainly off turn number 2. But if they time it right, they get to the throttle gently and at the right time, I think it'll be just fine. We did hear some drivers, Thomas McMullen being one of them, mention about how it being really hairy the first handful of laps out on the track. Brian Rose, driver of the number 89 Track Bar Media Machine, he also mentioned that about the first 5 or 6 laps, it is kind of tough to get around here, but once you've got that heat in those tires, air pressures come up, becomes a little bit more manageable. Practice time so far, it is the 46 of Chris Mefford fastest. Zach Millett, roughly an identical time. He's second quick. It was officially a 1/100th of a second slower than Chris Mefford. Brian Rose there third, a 10th off both of those times. Then you got Brandon Mefford and Austin Purnell. That's your top 5. Keaton Burnett, Drew Blaze, Vince Short. The 2 of Neil Quick and Will George rounds out your top 10 with just under a minute remaining in the practice session. Tough place to get around, Eric. I know a lot of guys are kind of the veterans in iRacing. Some may say that they're better on the 1.5 miles just to use that momentum to their advantage, picking the right line, when to back out of the throttle at the right spot. But a place like Martinsville, heavy braking, hard acceleration on exit. You might even see some guys that are good on road courses excel here. Brian Rose, again, a relatively decent road racer. He's top 3. Chris Mefford, Brandon Mefford, we've seen them excel on road courses as well, other places included.
Yeah, I think the guys like Brian Rose that has patience, and Neil Quick and some of these other guys that's proven that they have the patience to just kind of sit back and let the race come to them. I think this will be a track that they excel at. I think you got to have the patience here.
Certainly need patience. and long tempers, not short tempers. We're going to see some short tempers around this short track. The paperclip here at Martinsville Speedway. Practice is complete. We're going to get right into the qualifying session here in just a moment. Looks like Drew Blaze going to be the first driver to roll out. Drew across the line to start his lap, or to complete his first lap, a 19:58, and that's all he's going to get. Backs it into the turn one safer barrier, 19.586 for Drew Blaze. I don't know if he's going to get another opportunity. Zach Millett on the racetrack was fast in practice, second quick overall. It was Chris Mefford that was quickest at the time. Millett's first lap at 20:36, clearly a throwaway. Oh, almost a wall. If he got a piece of that, that's going to invalidate the lap. Again, it's kind of irrelevant. He's allowed to qualify for his pit box selection, but he does need to go to the rear at the start of the race for his win penalty. That is for the balance of the season. Second lap, 20.367. In fact, I don't think it counted lap 2 because he did make contact with the outside wall. Chris Goins, first lap, a 19.676. Third fast so far. Let's see if he picks it up here on lap number 2. Catch everybody up on that. The reason he was not counted for that lap time is if you do have an incident. Chris Goins goes P1, 19.541.
Brian Rose, P2.
That's on his first lap, a 19.57 for the 89 track bar media machine. We were talking about invalidated laps. If you make contact with the wall or get any kind of incident point during your Q run, it will negate that lap. Brian's second lap, not quicker. Second fast so far overall. Thomas McMillan's first lap, a 20.061, 10th quick. And Brandon Mefford goes P1, a 19.505. Second lap for McMullen. He does pick it up about 2.5 tenths quicker, 19.758. Mefford's second lap across the stripe. It's not faster, consistent, but still P1. Vincent Short, the last driver, it seems, to take a time. Chris Mefford has not left the box, likely waiting for the most opportune time to do so. It's a 5-minute session. We're 3 minutes plus into it. If he's going to go, it's time to go.
Well, Chris will be at the end anyway. He's got the EOL for last week's win.
Okay, so Chris Mefford's going to get an EOL as well. Maybe he cannot qualify. Did not get that from Cody early on. It was just the Zach Millett, Neil Quick EOLs. Missed one there, but nonetheless, looks like Chris remembered. Vincent Short, first lap, 8th quick. Second lap, still 8th quick. 19.883 for the driver of the 15 Track Bar Media Chevrolet Silverado. Got 1, 2, 3, 6. We got a bunch of drivers that have not taken a time in the qualifying session. So with that, we're going to step away really quick, get a quick break out of the way. Don't know if these guys are going to take a time or not, but we'll be back with our starting grid after this.
The great thing about youth sports, they give young people an opportunity to participate in something that is going to broaden them as people.
I think it's very amazing that Garza Law Firm has made a commitment to help the youth kids with playing different sports.
Guys like Marcos Garza that put their time into being able to help these kids live out a dream. It's made me who I am today.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Your starting grid for the violence in the Ville 125, presented by Black Acid Custom Racing Apparel. On the pole position, it is the number 83 of Brandon Mefford. To his outside with Lone Star Racing, it is the 6 of Chris Gones. Missed it by that much, not even a half a tenth. Second row, Brian Rose, the number 89 with Holler Boys Racing. He starts third. Drew Blaze in the 1 with LSR. He'll start fourth. Austin Purnell out of Carolina, the 32 machine, starts in the 5th position. Keaton Burnett, the number 26, another Lone Star Racing entry. He'll start from the 6th position. 7th goes to Will George, the number 96. Vincent Short, the 15. He'll start from the 8th spot. Thomas McMullen, the number 02 machine, starts 9th. And rounding out top 10 honors, Jamie Kerr, the number 75. Black Acid Custom Racing Apparel, HBR TV machine. Starting 11th, Carson Conway. Alan DeFries rolls off 12th. Cook Quick, the number 23, he'll start 13th. Rob Hattenback, the 99, he'll be 14th. Zach Millett starting 15th. Neil Quick starting 16th. These are our two top winners here as far as race wins are concerned, so they will start from the rear to start the race and to start stage 2. Mark Truxell's going to roll 17th. Chris Mefford, one to watch tonight. He's going to be quick, but he will also receive an EOL to start the race for his win last week. Doug Wysocki is going to start 19th. 20th goes, well, Eric Dodson technically is in the booth with us. He did enter the session as a practice. He will not be in the event. So technically 20th position, Timothy Culp. Bill Petroff, 21st. 22nd, Eddie Rose. And Tom Ridgway, shotgun on the field officially. He'll move up to the 23rd position. It's your starting grid here from Martinsville, Virginia. Field sits on the front straightaway here, getting ready to roll. That pace car rolls off right now. We will take 2 pace laps before we take the green flag here from Martinsville. Again, racetracks, I believe, half mile or less. We get 2 laps to get everybody formed up. Again, if you got a bigger field, you kind of really need that time to get everybody into the right position. Eric, you got a pick?
I'm going to take the 6 truck. I just got a feeling.
6 truck of Chris Gones. Let's see. I am going to go... I'm going to pick Brandon Mefford. I know I should have picked Chris last week, and I picked Brandon last week. It didn't work out. I'm going to go with Brandon Mefford tonight, mainly because of the track position benefit he has. Chris Mefford starting deep in the field. I know he can work his way through, but if things don't go well, he ends up in somebody else's mess. This looks better for the 83. Pace car peels off, getting ready to take the green flag.
Green flag.
Brian Rose all over. Brian Rose taking it 3 wide.
Didn't waste any time.
That's normally not like Brian to be that aggressive in the beginning like this.
Oh, yeah.
And caution on the Speedway. We got a bunch of drivers involved here. Alan DeFries, Hattenback, Doug Wysocki, Zach Millett. Big jam up here in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Looks like Chris Gones involved in it as well. Big damage to the left side of the number 6 Toyota Tundra, the eye-lending machine. Well, let's get a look at it and see what brought us under the yellow. Alan DeFries, one of the drivers involved. Up in the high lane here, the 71 there, that white truck. Off-corner exit. This looks like, yeah, this is down the back straightaway, so this is getting into turn number 3. Hattenback deep into the corner. Vincent Short slides up. Oh, Chris Gones and Drew Blaze, possibly?
Looks like Drew Blaze may have got Chris Goins. I'm not sure.
Well, let's take a look at it from this perspective here. Oops, hang on, wrong button. Real time, Gones real wide on exit. They're going to be 3 wide. They enter this corner. You see Drew Blaze in the middle, Hattenback on the bottom.
Looks like Goins may have just came down.
So that's our first caution of the evening.
Sorry, Chris, I shouldn't have picked you.
Meanwhile, Brian Rose, though, he's going to be the new leader over the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Jonathan Arn certainly not happy about that. The good news is, Jonathan, I know Chris is going to give a setback out of this and some damage on that machine, but the good news to it all, the truck is damaged. It looks to be salvageable. I don't know if it's going to be the fastest truck out there, but I think he'll be able to get back into this unless he's got some pretty bad left front suspension damage. We're going to have to wait and see the verdict here on Chris Goins.
It looks like I've locked down the 24th position.
Yeah, Eric Dotson. Again, everyone's seeing Eric Dotson here in the running order. We had a last-minute admin change. We had to make sure that Eric was able to take care of some administration duties within the race. So he did need to enter as an actual competitor to do so. He is actually up here in the booth. He's not in the truck. So if you see him there in 24th, it's not because he's terrible. He's up here in the booth.
Well, I probably would be anyway, but...
Not a super speedway, huh?
No, not at Super Speedway. I'm like Michael Waltrip.
Kevin Blue, Lone Star on Lone Star violence. Not a good situation. Early on in the race, a lot of aggression. We did see that kind of coming into play really quickly. Guys just trying to get all they can on that initial start. I know when you're bunched up tight like that, it's everyone's natural inclination to try and get all you can get on that initial start, or in many cases restarts. We'll have to see how these guys mind their P's and Q's on this one. Pace car is pulling off. This is into turn 3. That's where you lose the pace car. You've got to make your way all the way around before we see a green flag.
Green flag.
Back up and running here. Oh, wheel spin from some of the top trucks already.
Oh, we got somebody in the wall.
Thomas
One thing
McMullen.
for sure, everybody on the racetrack will be pissed off at somebody else on the racetrack before this race is over with.
Thomas McMullen with some pretty significant damage. The right side, the rear side, the front side. Driver's side looks clean, but that's really about it. Let's take a look, see what happened to the 02. Coming to green. Oh, just gets into the back of Keaton Burnett, and then Jamie Kerr clips him, and then across the nose of the 57 of Petrov.
Yeah, I think that wheel spin from the top guys had a chain effect there.
It really did kind of back everybody up in the field. Surprised to see that, though. We really only had maybe one full lap under the green flag. Not a whole lot of heat in those tires to start. Not a whole lot of wear either. I wouldn't really even call them scuffs at this point. Looks like Thomas may... No, he was involved in that caution. I don't know if he'll get a wave around here or not. We're going to see in a minute. As soon as we get the one to go.
I think as long as he don't pit, he should, because he's still on the lead lap. There's my pick, Chris getting his lap back.
Good to see out of Chris Goins. Again, long race, early issue for the 6, but time to get it fixed and work his way back towards the front. He's got pace around this place. Again, the damage on the truck certainly fixable. He can kind of work his way at it, chip away at it as the race goes on. Every chance he hits pit lane here to get any kind of tire or fuel, he can try to get some repairs made. Certainly the stage caution at lap 90 will help considerably, but will there be enough time for Goins to do anything with that truck at the end of this race? Again, 125 lap race, stage break at lap 90 does not leave a whole lot of time to make your way back towards the front. So Jonathan Arn in the stream chat as well. Don't think that would have happened if Rose wasn't so aggressive taking it 3 wide. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you, Jonathan. I mean, that's it's kind of early to be making a 3 wide move on the initial start, but in the same token, racers are racers. You see that run that you might have, or maybe he had just a stellar restart or a stellar start for that matter. It's either check up and give it up or take it 3 wide. He chose to go 3 wide. Fortunately, some negative consequences to it, but for Brian Rose as a racer, he's at the front of the field, so it hasn't worked out terribly for him as of yet. Again, plenty of racing left to go. We're only 12 laps into this 125 lap event.
Yeah, I mean, Brian's normally not that aggressive, but I mean, if you remember back to the start, he was right on Medford from the start. I mean, I think he had a plan here.
Yeah, typically you don't see aggression like that out of the 89. I mean, he's got a couple of wins on the season as it is, but let's see what happens here. Pace car back in. Second caution about to wrap up. We're going to go back to the green flag here. It'll be lap 13 when they cross the stripe.
Green flag.
Good jump by the 89. Leaves Austin Purnell in the dust to the outside. Brandon Mefford, though, he got a good jump as well. Caught in the 32, sleeping. Purnell there in the 3rd position. Will George is 4th. Drew Blaze 5th.
It's like Brian may be stretching a little lead here, but
About a full second advantage and a caution again. Carson Conway in the fence. Survival of the fittest is what Martinsville really kind of brings to the table in many cases. Luck has a lot to do with it as well. Darwin loves this place. Couple drivers in pit lane. Mark Truxell, one of them. Vincent Short, the other. Again, I know Short certainly involved in that first lap incident. Don't know if Truxell got a piece of that or not. Let me scroll back through here to be sure. Don't see that he did. Not sure what Truxell's got going on here, but a couple drivers as well. Cook Quick, Thomas McMullen, Rob Hattenbach, Jamie Kerr, all on pit lane. There's some damage to the Vincent Short machine still, taking the time to get some repairs made. Curious about the 6 of Chris Goins.
I think Chris was a lap down. He may have got the lucky dog again, and that may put him back on the lead lap.
Yeah, Chris Goins listed 16th position, lead lap truck.
Yeah, so he's been the biggest beneficiary out of these cautions so far.
Small place like Martinsville, Virginia, 17 laps. Even with this being our 3rd caution, they've already gone by in quite the hurry. See if everybody can go back to minding their P's and Q's, get some green flag run in here.
Do you know what the stage or the fuel window is here?
Top of my head, I do not. I know some guys were practicing. I think it was about a 58% fuel load, which took them to 73 laps. Tonight's fuel load, 38%. I'm going to take a wild guess, and it's going to put it around 40 to 50 laps. But again, with the cautions, that's all changed. I mean, at this point, they're certainly not going to make it to the end of the stage unless we keep up with cautions like this. If we keep getting wrecks every handful of laps, they might make it all the way to the stage break at 90 laps. We'll see.
Yeah, I was just thinking, you know, when's the leaders maybe try to make it with fuel and pit on a caution, but we haven't seen any of them yet.
Track position so important here at places like Martinsville. You're starting to see why, because it kind of keeps you out of the riffraff if you're up in front of this field. You don't get caught up in the minutia, so to say. I was going to go with BS, but nevertheless, you get the point. If you're out front, unless you start lapping cars, you're not really going to get stuck in any kind of those mid-pack crashes that we've already seen a couple of already. See Jamie Kerr leaving pit lane, just barely beating the pace car out. Cody Anderson saying hello in the YouTube chat. What's going on, Cody? Pace car is off. Let's try this again here. 3 cautions already coming to lap 20 for the restart.
flag.
Another good jump by Brian Rose. Brian Rose getting off the corner really well.
That's the same exact thing I was getting ready to say. He's really putting some distance getting off the turn.
Jamie Kerr back to the pit lane once again. In fact, I think Jamie might have had an issue right after this restart. We did not get a caution for it. Saw a little bit of tire smoke up ahead of the leaders after that restart. Let's see if we can go back, get a quick peek and see what happened to the 75. Remember, he was late getting out of the pits. Oh, just locks up the rear and hard impact to the wall all by himself. Tough night going from bad to worse.
Yeah, looks like he's smoking too, so that may end his night.
Brian Rose leads. Brandon Mefford, Austin Purnell, Will George, and Drew Blaze. That's your top five. Then 6 is Bill Petroff. Chris Mefford up to P7. Keaton Burnett 8th. Neil Quick 9th. Zach Millett 10th. These cautions certainly working to those guys' advantage. They started from the rear. Neil Quick, Zach Millett, Chris Mefford all at the back to drop the green flag, and they're within the top 10. 25 laps in. It's like a new race for these guys.
Brandon Medford said last week Chris Medford's going to be hard to beat here. So, I mean, he's proven it coming through the field right now. We'll see if he can get up there and challenge.
I think the only saving grace everybody really had was that he had to start from the back, and now with 3 cautions in the first 20 or so laps, that spells disaster for everybody else. As Chris Mefford on a mission up to P6 already, closing in on Drew Blaze into turn number 3.
Yeah, it looks like he may have got involved in something. Looks like the back end may be pushed in a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of a dent there to the tailgate of the 46, but it doesn't seem to be really slowing his pace. He's kind of closed down the gap on Drew Blaze. Drew Blaze has certainly got pace just about everywhere we go, but Blaze showing some front-end damage as well. Again, only 27 laps in here at Martinsville Speedway, and, well, the trucks are starting to look like, well, they're at Martinsville.
Absolutely.
Brian Rose stretching it out. 2.4 seconds back to Brandon Mefford.
I know Brian gets on a lot through the week in practices, and well, it looks like we got wrecked.
Stay under the green so far.
I can hear the drivers chatting. I heard somebody saying wreck in it.
Tim Culp, possibly. Yeah, the 8 machine, he was in the fence here. Let's back it up just a hair and see if we can catch what happened there with Timothy Culp. He's got smoke billowing out of the back of that truck. Oh, he had 2 wrecks, essentially. The outside of Ellen DeFries. This is into, oh yeah, crosses the nose. Puts himself into the fence off the nose of Alan DeFries. He's got certain mechanical damage on that machine, and then just kind of puts it in the wall after some contact again. Then quick, kind of a chain reaction event there, but that was likely what we were talking about. Cody Anderson in the stream chat. Good question. When is the stage break? We covered it in the beginning. Thanks for showing up on time, Cody. But we'll cover it again. For those of you just joining us, the stage is the completion of lap 90. So we've still got a ways to go. And again, it will be a very short run to the finish once that stage is complete. Will George in the 4th spot, putting the 88 down a lap. Drew Blaze is going to follow him on through for the 5th position. Chris Mefford still there in 6th, but right to the back bumper of Drew Blaze. See how deep into the corner. And we do have another caution on the Speedway. Looks like Ellen DeFreeze involved. See a terrible amount of damage on the 71 truck. Let's see if we can catch what happened with DeFreeze.
Don't look like it's scratched.
Zach Millett and Petrov just ahead. Oh, just loses it on exit. Power down a little too early. I don't think he really got the wall, and if he did, just a touch, but enough to bring us under the caution flag once again. Fourth time of the day. With that, we're going to take a quick side-by-side break. Stay with us. You won't miss a thing. We'll be back after this.
The great thing about youth sports, they give young people an opportunity to participate in something that is going to broaden them as people.
I think it's very amazing that Garza Law Firm has made a commitment to help the youth kids with playing different sports.
Guys like Marcos Garza that put their time into being able to help these kids live out a dream. It's made me who I am today.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
The great thing about youth sports, they give young people an opportunity to participate in something that is going to broaden them as people.
I think it's very amazing that Garza Law Firm has made a commitment to help the youth kids with playing different sports.
Guys like Marcos Garza that put their time into being able to help these kids live out a dream. It's made me who I am today.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Martinsville Speedway. Brian Rose out front, ahead of Brandon Mefford, working our fourth caution of the afternoon. 39 laps in, we're getting ready to go back to the green flag here. It'll be lap 40. Pace car peels off, entry to pit lane, turn number 3. Close eye on these guys, see when they get back in the throttle.
Green flag.
Another great jump by the 89 of Brian Rose.
He's really setting the pace right now. I mean, he's doing a great job of being out front and keeping the lead.
You and I kind of talked about it during the break. We wondered if Brian Rose is using up his stuff a little bit too soon, kind of running too much, too fast, too early. Seems to have a lot of pace over Brandon Mefford, and caution on the Speedway again. Carson Conway, his second time around into the fence. Looks like off turn number 4. Carson Conway in trouble, puts us under our 5th caution of the night. Let's get a look at it, see what happened to the 72 of Conway. Off the nose of the 57. Don't know if Carson was quite clear or not. Nevertheless, Carson Conway in the fence once again. Tristan Sykes in the stream chat. Is Fahey wrecked out yet? Honestly, Tristan, I don't know that Fahey even made the race. No sign of Mike Fahey here tonight, unfortunately. Used to seeing the 19 here at the Speedway, but maybe Labor Day screwed everybody up. I know even one of our admins kind of forgot that it was Tuesday and had to put this all together kind of last minute. But yeah, no Mike Fahey, unfortunately. So through this caution, some pit stops have taken place amongst the leaders. Alan DeFries has now taken over the top spot. Remember, Alan DeFries was involved a couple of incidents already tonight. I think one was by himself. Very minor incident, but still enough to put us under the yellow. Sits there atop the leaderboard. Drew Blaze second. Keaton Burnett, Brian Rose, Zach Millett. That's your top five.
A lot of these guys have a little bit of tailgate damage tonight.
I think everybody's going to have damage by the time this one's over with. We're halfway through the first stage already. It's been mostly cautions, I have to say. Again, it is Martinsville. We expect this. It's a close quarters battle. The good news is it's only a 24 truck field, which is still a good chunk of change as far as car count, or truck count, that is, here at a track like the half-mile Martinsville Paperclip. Tristan Sykes, that might be for the best. Yeah, maybe. I don't know for who necessarily, him or us, but so far it seems like everybody's gotten a piece of everybody here tonight.
I think this is the first time Brian Rose hasn't been leading.
Now, Brian did pit just to catch everybody up there. So did Alan DeFries, though. Alan pit at lap 35. Drew Blaze was lap 37. So was Keaton Burnett. And then Brian Rose all the way back to Chris Goins in P12. They pit lap 42. You see Chris Goins, though, through that cycle. These cautions are certainly helping the six. Every chance he gets, he can dump down pit lane and get some repairs made. So not all is lost for Chris Goins. He's still got a shot at this thing. He's up there in the top 12. Pace car is off. We wait for now Alan DeFries to get a hold of the green flag here. There's the restart zone. Green flag waves, and Alan DeFries is off and running. Drew Blaze caught sleeping on the restart. Lap 47 on the board. Keaton Burnett jumps to the inside. Drew Blaze going to battle back up top. Brian Rose and Zach Millett, two HBR teammates, side by side for a moment. Now down the backstretch. Rose to the outside of Burnett. See if he can make the pass and complete it here off turn number 4. He's got him clear into turn number 1. Brian Rose back up to P3.
Brian is showing some great speed here right now.
I just worry that he got lucky with all those cautions in the early stages of this race. I just hope he's not chewing up that tire too much. I know he had good tire wear in practice. We talked to him about how important tires were going to be pre-race. He said they're important, but even on a long run, they didn't show a whole lot of wear. The real question, though, isn't necessarily the wear aspect. It's the fall off. Can you maintain this pace from now until the time? And we have another caution. Thomas McMullen in trouble. Backwards once again. Well, let's get a look at it. See what happened to Thomas McMullen. Slides up just a little. To Vincent Short, and around he goes.
2 HBR teammates.
Looks like Vince got a little loose as well. Probably didn't help the situation. So, fifth, I'm starting to run out of numbers here. I think it's fifth caution. We can check real quick here.
Looks like Carson Conway got the lucky dog pass.
Sixth caution of the day.
So I think Carson Conway will go back on the lead lap.
Carson listed in P14. Yes, he is still shown as a lead lap truck. We're going to take another short break, get a word from Black Acid Custom Racing Apparel, and we'll be back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Martinsville Speedway. Pace car lights are off, getting ready to go back to the green flag here. Lap 55 about to go up on the board. Alan DeFries will be your leader. Drew Blaze, Brian Rose, Zach Millett, Chris Mefford. Bunch of fast trucks here in the top five. We'll see what they can do with Alan DeFries here as we go back to the green flag.
Green flag.
I think Drew Blaze laying back like that hurts him more than it helps him. Brian was able to make that pass pretty easy right there. We'll see if he can run Alan DeFries down.
Alan DeFries still your leader, but you're right. Brian Rowe is up to P2, just over half a second behind the 71. Drew Blaze, Zach Millett, Chris Mefford, the top five. Brandon Mefford, P6. Neil Quick, Keaton Burnett, Bill Petroff, Austin Purnell, the top 10. Battle for the third position. Zach Millett to the outside of Drew Blaze. Not sure who the aggressor is here, but Mefford looking to the bottom. Going to make it 3 wide. Oh, a little wiggle for Drew Blaze into turn number 3. It's hard to tell sometimes, but Millett, the beneficiary, he's up to P3. Drew Blaze now back to 5th, where the 46 of Chris Mefford, now he's up to P4.
The 46 is on a mission to get to the front. I mean, just that move alone tells you he's not wasting no time. It's go time for him.
Yeah, without a doubt, 46 Chris Mefford, damage and all to the rear of that Chevy Silverado. He's got pace. He's quick on these short tracks. His brother Brandon had mentioned the same thing, but Brandon's not too shabby himself. He's P6. Mefford closing down the gap between himself and Zach Millett. Again, Millett running P3. He's up 12 spots, but Mefford's up 14 spots.
Yeah, I mean, Chris went from going 3 wide on the bottom to going to the high side of the passes. He looks low on Zach Millett here.
Chris Mefford to the bottom for the third position. Little wiggle out of Brian Rose off turn number 4. It's going to allow Zach Millett to close the distance down just a bit. Now Millett looking to the outside, going to try and pin the 46 behind Brian Rose.
I think the 46 may have checked up a little bit there when Brian wiggled.
It doesn't seem to make a difference at this point. Move Chris Mefford up to P3. Zach Millett now P4. Alan DeFries continues to lead. Again, Alan's come on strong here in the last few races here in the SCAR Premier Series. He's He's led some laps. He's shown some strength up at the front of the field, and here he leads Brian Rose and Chris Mefford, two pretty heavy hitters here tonight at Martinsville. Allen with some clean air out in front.
I know Brian's wanting this stage win. He needs to start working on Allen before Chris starts working on him.
I think the problem he's going to run into, though, if he works too hard on the 71 of DeFries, he may open the door to Mefford. Mefford's fastest lap of the race is the fastest lap of the race right now, 19.55 seconds.
Here goes Brian to the inside. He may do it right here.
Brian Rose jumping to the front of the field here, takes the lead away from Alan DeFries. Down the backstretch into 3. Mefford's going to sneak through and take P2 as well, it seems. Allen going to fight back on the outside, but it's not enough. Move Chris Mefford up to second spot.
I mean, you see, it took Allen just got a little loose coming out of the turn and lost 2 positions from that. I mean, that's how critical that this field position is.
I mean, it's pretty realistic, I'll be honest. I mean, we see this happen in the Cup Series or even the Xfinity Series, and in real life, you see these guys kind of get hung out when they're getting passed by someone. It's almost a guarantee if there's somebody else there to take advantage. They're not just going to lose the one spot. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5, depending on how quickly they can get tucked back into line. In this case, DeFries was able to get back in behind Chris Mefford. Now Mefford, though, he's working on Brian Rose hard for the lead.
Yeah, he ducked low there a while ago. I thought he was going to make a move. He may just be trying to set Brian up here.
Lap 69 on the board. We've still got about 22 to go to close out the stage. Chris Mefford looking to the bottom, dives it in deep. Brian Rose puts the power down and drives away.
Brian left him a little bit of an opening right there, and he took advantage. And I think if he'd have been a little bit more aggressive, we might have had a spin there.
You know, but leaving the bottom open the way that he did, it kind of allowed him to drive out of the corner a little bit faster than the 46. Certainly seemed to help his exit. Risky move, but here he goes again, taking a peek to the inside. Looks like Mefford's going to lose the nose on corner entry.
I think Brian's running just a little bit higher to try to keep Medford from passing him.
I think that Brian might just be trying to drive defensively here. I think he's just trying, like you said early on, trying to get that stage win. He's going to try and use the 5 of Mark Truxell. A bit of a pick here. Good exit by the 46. He might make a move into the corner here. Nope. Defensive line once again by Brian Rose. This is kind of what you see at a road course. Almost contact made. Woo! Just trying to talk about the defensive line that Brian Rose has been taking. He could certainly exit higher than he is, but he's trying to keep that car closer to the bottom. Mefford may have him here into turn 3. He's not going to lift. Side by side through turns 3 and 4. Exit at turn 4. Brian gets the drive off. I don't think he's going to have him clear. Turn 1's going to be Chris Mefford's. New leader, Chris Mefford. Off turn number 2, down the back stretch, the 46 from worst to first. Took him 75 laps, bunch of cautions involved, but he's going to start to drive away here. Again, no slouch here at the short track of Martinsville Speedway. Brian Rose now back to P2. Zach Millett has taken back to 3rd position. Neil Quick coming into the frame here. He's going to take P4 from Alan DeFries. DeFries back to position number 5. Then we've got Drew Blaze, Brandon Mefford, Austin Purnell, Chris Goins, Thomas McMullen through his struggles. He's still in the top 10. Cook Quick, Jamie Kerr, some lap trucks up top, leaving room for the leaders. right on board with Drew Blaze. He runs in the 6th position, right behind Alan DeFries.
You know, one thing looking at the stats too, the live timing is, you know, Alan DeFries and Drew Blaze were up near the front, and they have older tires than now the top 4. So, you know, maybe that 7-8 lap tire spread is playing that much of a difference now later on the run.
I mean, it's something to keep in mind for certain. They only had 2 sets of tires over the wall, so everyone that's opted for tires at this stage of the game, they've got 1 set left. They're going to have to burn it here at the stage. See Eddie Rose way out of the groove. But again, that final stage, even if we go green from green to checkered, we're talking maybe 30 laps. 15 miles, it's not a whole lot to worry about on a set of Goodyear Eagles. Chris Mefford, though, still out front. About a full second advantage back to the 89 of Brian Rose. Nine laps remain in the stage.
Caution, man.
Caution on the speedway. Mark Truxell looks to be involved in this. Tough night for the 5. Gets the inside curb and around it goes. Again, a nice lazy spin, but it's enough for a yellow. Traffic was coming. Chris Mefford down pit lane here. Looks like a couple of guys going to take the opportunity to short pit the stage. This way, when the caution does come out for the stage break at lap 90, the completion of lap 90, they will not need to stop. That may hurt them in the end, though. It's 6 or 7 lap difference in fresh tires to not. We saw how those guys, it was like Drew Blaze as well, and Alan DeFries had those older tires. They slipped their ways back. Four tires and fuel for Drew Blaze. Keith Burnett into the pit box.
He's had a rough day on that right side.
It's Martinsville, man. It's a tough place for everybody. Another 4-tire stop for Keaton Burnett. So one thing I wish we had was a way to tell how many tires they had left over pit wall. I would assume that Brian Rose, he's only been to pit lane once. He's got an extra set still lying over the wall. But interestingly, Chris Gones up to the 4th position. Chris pit at lap 42 with the current top 3. Chris has made it to pit lane 6 times tonight. Again, he's probably getting some damage repaired every time he's there. Certainly not giving up anything here, running all the laps, trying to make this a full race, and so far it's working out as he finds himself sitting into the top 5. Presumably with another set of tires over the wall.
How aggressive do you think these guys are going to be? You know, we're probably going to have a 2 or 3 lap shootout for the stage.
Well, that's what's going to be interesting. And Brian Rose finds himself in the position he wanted to be in. You've got the top 4, top 5, really the top 7 trucks pit between lap 42 and lap 52. Everybody else behind pit on this caution. So it's 87. We're going to get the green the next time by. It'll be a 2-lap shootout to close out the stage. The odds look pretty good for Brian Rose unless somebody really gets into the tailgate of that Track Bar Media F-150. He's going to have to fend off a fast, hard-charging Zach Millett as well, so we'll have to see how that goes. Both those drivers have fast laps within 1/100th of a second of each other, though it does go to Zach Millett as the faster of the two. It's going to be a challenge. Pace car's off.
Green flag, green flag.
Zach gets a jump and a half.
Brian went a little later than he had been early on. But Millett's going to have to deal with Neil Quick to the bottom here. Brian Rose into turn 3, 88 laps on the board, coming to 89. He's got another couple of laps here if he wants to win this stage. Neil Quick takes the spot from Zach Millett. Brian Rose still looking awfully strong into 3 and 4. Off turn number 4. Lap 90 will go on the board. The completion of this lap will be the stage.
Yellow's out. Can you see the pit sign?
That's the stage.
Get more acclimated to it, or is it still difficult?
Yellow seemed to come out a bit early on that. They had not completed lap 90.
Vince, or I heard on the radio, I think we had a accident on the front stretch.
Looks like Bill Petroff and Chris Mefford, but nonetheless, caution coming out. That is going to be the stage end. I think you're right there, Eric. The 57 in the wall as well. Chris Mefford.
Yeah, where I'm in the race tonight, I kind of like it. I can hear the driver chat, and I heard Vince calling out a wreck on the front stretch.
You can turn the driver chat on even in the watch just for future reference. I turn it off just because if someone starts dropping F-bombs, I don't really need that going out over the stream. But we got a bunch of takers for pit road. Brian Rose, one of them. He's going to take, I would assume, his final set of tires for the night. Track Bar Media F-150 looking awfully clean. Spent most of the night near the front of the field. No dings, no dents, no scratches. Doesn't mean much. There's still plenty of race to go here as Brian Rose, 4 tires and fuel down and away. And it looks like our current top 5 has stayed on the racetrack. Again, they pit with that caution just before the stage. That's Alan DeFries, Brandon Mefford, Drew Blaze, Austin Purnell, Keaton Burnett. So with that, I'm going to try and jump over to the chat and get a word with our stage winner, Brian Rose, if I can here in just a moment. Brian Rose, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I'm here, Steve.
Brian Rose, somehow you managed to keep that thing out in the front of the field. You got yourself a stage win. Fresh tires underneath that F-150 with a short second stage to go. How do you feel about your odds?
You know, we put in some work here today. Got some good teammates here behind me. You know, HBR, it's Track Bar Media, and everybody who makes this go from week to week. Martinsville's not an easy place to get around, and there's a lot of stiff competition out here. Glad to be up here, and, you know, it's hammer down all the way to the end right now.
All right, Brian. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. We'll let you get back to it as we get ready to go back to green. Good luck to the end.
Thank you.
Was Brian Rose your stage winner? He's got a plan in place to try and make it win number 3 on the season. He's got some stiff competition, though. He's going to restart this in the 6th position, though he does have fresher tires by roughly 8 laps over the top 5. Now, those 8 laps, not all of them green flag, but I think they may come into play here later on. Brian Rose has shown a lot of pace throughout this race on fresh tires and old. We'll see if the top 5 can hold him off. Pace car lights
We got 2
off.
fast trucks at the end of the tail end, too.
And Zach Millett, Neil Quick, they were relegated to the back of the lead lap trucks. EOL given to them. Again, that's part of their win penalties. We'll see them try and power their way through the field. Green flag waves. We're back underway for Martinsville. Lap 96 goes on the board. Alan DeFries back out in front. Good jump for the 71. Brandon Mefford P2. Drew Blaze P3. And Brian Rose way out of the groove. Rose loses a couple of spots on the restart. He's back to the 8th spot. Stays out of the fence.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but that's really hurt him. He's
Ryan
lost
Rose.
a bunch of momentum and spots.
Now he's got Chris Mefford at the bottom, Carson Conway. I don't know if he's got an issue. He's been up out of the groove a couple of times into the loose stuff. Brian Rose trying to find a rhythm here, down to P10. He's got Doug Wysocki on the bottom trying to take that spot away. Wysocki listed as the 34, but he's got the 85 on the door of that machine, so we'll have to get that righted.
Looks like he may be finding his groove now, but that definitely hurt. You know, somebody who's been out front all day.
He's got to regroup. He's got some work to do. Brian Rose off turn 4, looking to the inside of the 72 of Conway. Takes the spot away. Move Brian Rose back to P9. Another teammate, Vince Short, way up top. Rose back to the 9th position. Vincent Short, not a lead lap truck. That was not for position, but now he's got to try and catch and pass Chris Mefford. That is a tall task in itself. Mefford on the same age tires as Brian Rose.
You know, these two's probably been the two that's led the most laps and with Alan DeFreeze, so we'll see if they have anything left. I mean, they got to go now with 25 to go. It don't take long to get 25 laps here.
Fresh tires starting to work their way towards the front here. Chris Goins around Thomas McMullen for the 5th position. Or the other way around, is McMullen attacking here? Is he trying to take the top 5 spot away from the 6th? Off turn number 4 at the stripe, I think it's McMullen. Brian Rose, though, he's gotten around Chris Mefford. He's also working to the bottom of Keaton Burnett. Brian is wasting no time. He can't waste any time with 24 laps to go. He has to fight hard to get back towards the front if he's going to challenge for this win.
Chris may have had a problem, or maybe he used his tires early. It looks like he's fallen.
Chris Mefford, he did pit on his last caution, but it was a 12.42 second stop, so you might be right. He may have burned that set of tires a little bit sooner, possibly lap 83. Maybe he only took 2. It's hard to say. Brian Rose looks to the inside of Chris Goins for the 6th position. McMullen had taken it away. Back out front, Alan DeFreeze still with the lead. Brandon Mefford, the number 83, stalking the 71 in the 2nd position with 21 to go. Drew Blaze, Austin Purnell, that's the top 4. That group all together now. Tell you, Alan DeFreeze looks awfully smooth coming out of these corners. No wiggle out of the back of that Toyota Tundra whatsoever.
I know it's a short run and the least amount of laps that they have to go, but I just wonder, you know, maybe he's pushing it a little more and Brandon's kind of saving a little more right now.
Leaders starting to catch some lap traffic. Jamie Kerr, the number 75, first on that list. Yields to the leaders again, lets them race on by. Again, closing laps here at Martinsville Speedway. Caution on the Speedway. Chris Mefford in trouble. I will say this much, the driver that was hoping to see this, it's the 89 of Brian Rose. Certainly had some pace, was starting to close in on Thomas McMullen, but it was likely too much of a gap with too little laps remaining. Thomas McMullen and Brian Rose, the top 2 drivers with the freshest tires. The top 4, Alan DeFreeze, Brandon Mefford, Drew Blaze, Austin Purnell, they all pit in lap 83. Vincent Short's going to get a lap back.
You know, we're closing down, coming to the playoffs of the SCAR series here, and I know, you know, Brian and Neil both want to be the regular season champion, and they're running right there. Brian Rose in 6th, Neil in 7th, and they're only separated by 5 points. So you know these two know that, and they're going to do everything they can to oust each other.
Yeah, next week we've got Atlanta Motor Speedway, the old layout at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So that's totally different animal here. You're going to wear some tires big time at that place. Sounds like a Neil Quick type of racetrack, if you ask me.
Every track is a Neil Quick raceway, I feel like. I mean, we have so much talent in this league. I mean, used to, you basically had 2 or 3 drivers that you knew was probably going to win the race. Now, I mean, it's up in the air every race.
It's certainly a nice change. I mean, we always had guys that were quick, and we had some talent in the league, but the numbers are certainly up this season. By and large, thanks to a lot of Lone Star Racing drivers coming over to participate in this series. They run a truck series also on Thursdays. But there's no shortage of talent in here in SCAR and also over in LSR. It's good to see a good mix of drivers coming into this, and you're absolutely right, man. There's opportunities for a lot of different drivers to win races this season. We've already seen it. Drew Blaze he's got a win or two here. Keaton Burnett, he had a win on the dirt. It's just awesome to see. I just want to see it grow and continue to go in this direction because it can only go better. Pace car lights are off.
We've had 9 different winners this season.
And this is race 17, I believe.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pace car is down. Wait for Alan DeFries to get to the Geico restart zone.
Ready, green.
Waits for the flag, and he's off and running. Alan DeFries with another good jump. Brandon Mefford not too shabby either, but Drew Blaze hangs back there in P3. He's got Austin Purnell looking for the spot to his outside. Blaze has him clear off turn 2. Purnell back to 4th. Brian Rose to the outside of Thomas McMullen for position. Maybe trying to make it 2 for 1. Not able to pull it off. Stays to the outside of Thomas McMullen. We've got 11 laps to go. Alan DeFries checking out. 2 truck lengths back to Brandon Mefford. Drew Blaze right to the tailgate of the 83. Brian Rose up to the 5th spot.
$10 to go. Does anybody have anything for Alan?
Just 5 miles remain here from Martinsville. The violence in the Ville 125. We've had our share of it tonight with multiple cautions, especially at the beginning stage, the first stage of this event. Coming to 9 laps to go. Alan DeFries and Mefford taking a peek to the bottom. Nothing doing there for the 83.
I think Medford's kind of doing the same thing he done earlier on Brian Rose. He's kind of braking early and slowing down faster and getting the run out of the turn to try to duck under him.
Brian Rose into the 5th position still. Was trying to get to the Austin Purnell machine as we might have a battle for the lead here into 3. Mefford to the bottom. Alan DeFries slides up to the top. Off turn number 4, new leader. Brandon Mefford takes the top spot. DeFries trying to battle back. Little wiggle on corner entry. He's going to give the 2nd position to Drew Blaze. He's going to tuck in behind Purnell for a moment. Crosses over. Tries to take the spot back from Purnell ahead of Brian Rose. Thomas McMullen and Zach Millett doing battle for position. Millett in P6 for the moment. McMullen on the top side. Now Neil Quick coming into the picture as well. Millett looking to the inside of Brian Rose. Brian Rose going way wide way deep into the corner, into the loose stuff. We got cars spinning and crashing. Contact Neil Quick and Brian Rose.
I think Brian Rose got into Alan DeFreeze.
Not 100% sure what went down. We stay under the green flag. Rose drops back to P7. We got 4 laps to go. We got a 3-wide battle, and Thomas McMullen loses it into the corner. We got a car around. It's Neil Quick. Caution on the speedway with 4 laps to go. Drew Blaze was closing in hot and heavy on Brandon Mefford. We're going to go to overtime.
I think we're going to have some tempers after this race.
It's Martinsville, baby. I wouldn't expect anything less. If I was quick on my bleep button, I'd open up the driver's chat.
Yeah, it ain't too bad, but you got a few guys calling guys out.
With that, we're going to step aside real quick, get another break out of the way. Don't worry, you won't miss anything. We will absolutely be back before the green flag and the conclusion of this one. Stay with us, everybody.
The great thing about youth sports, they give young people an opportunity to participate in something that is going to broaden them as people.
I think it's very amazing that Garza Law Firm has made a commitment to help the youth kids with playing different sports.
Guys like Marcos Garza that put their time into being able to help these kids live out a dream. It's made me who I am today.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Martinsville Speedway, the Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series presented by Black Acid Custom Racing Apparel. We got ourselves a good one shaping up here. We're under our first green-white checkered attempt, getting ready to unfold here. Brandon Mefford with the lead. Drew Blaze to his outside. Then it's Austin Purnell, Zach Millett, Chris Goins, Alan DeFreeze. We've got some short tempers already brewing before this thing has even come to its conclusion. Likely between Alan DeFreeze and Neil Quick. We'll get more to that later, possibly. Pace car is off. Mefford out front there, pretty good already.
Green flag.
Another big jump by Brandon Mefford. As soon as he hits the restart zone, a terrible restart for Drew Blaze. He's going to lose a spot, maybe 2. Mefford out in front, 2 laps to go. Purnell in second, DeFreeze third. Blaze and Rose the top 5.
Yeah, Drew Blaze just hindered that outside line right there.
White flag in the air, last lap for Brandon Mefford. One more time around, no caution can spoil this one unless it's the 83. Down the backstretch for the final time, Austin Purnell in tow, truck length behind. No pressure for the 83. Looking for a checkered flag off turn number 4. He's going to win the Violence in the Ville, 125 for Martinsville Speedway. Second place goes to Austin Purnell. Drew Blaze is third, Alan DeFreeze, and Zach Millett finished 5th. Brian Rose, Thomas McMullen, Chris Goins, looks like Doug Wysocki and Keaton Burnett round out your top 10. Brandon Mefford with another win. Chris Mefford coming in and little hey, hi, how are you to his brother. Looks like Mefford's working the old Polish victory lap here at Martinsville. Made famous by Alan Kulwicki back in the early 90s.
That's a pretty good race.
With that, we're going to step aside here, get another break out of the way, and we'll be back with our top 3 finishers after this.
The great thing about youth sports, they give young people an opportunity to participate in something that is going to broaden them as people.
I think it's very amazing that Garza Law Firm has made a commitment to help the youth kids with playing different sports.
Guys like Marcos Garza that put their time into being able to help these kids live out a dream. It's made me who I am today.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Martinsville Speedway, the Violence in the Ville 125 Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series, race number 17. It's all wrapped up and in the books. Brandon Mefford with the checkered flag, worst to first, started from the back, worked his way out front, and takes home the checkered flag. Let's see if we can pull Brandon up into the broadcast booth. For those keeping track, Brandon was my pick. Brandon, it's Steve and Eric in the HBR TV booth. You got a good copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Brandon, congratulations. First of all, get that out of the way. And second of all, thanks for winning, because I don't know if you know, me and Eric do picks pre-race, and once again, I went with the 83. Last week it bit me, but tonight not so much, so nice job.
Yeah, thanks. Good. You got lucky. I'll just put it that way.
Well, you looked good out there regardless. I know your brother Chris had his share of issues out there, but starting from the back, do the EOL, the win penalty from last week. What was the strategies, the challenges that you had to work your way through? I know you had some damage at one point, but again, slowly but surely worked your way out front. Tell us about it.
Well, actually, I set fast time. Chris was the one in the back, so, I'll just take it from there. But my strategy was just to save tires and be there at the end. And the strategy there in the middle of the race before the stage break was going to make or break the race, I thought. So pit a little early before that 90-lap stage break, and, got to about 6th place with that last little bit and got lucky on the inside there. And DeFries was out there. Chris must have been getting something fixed, but he told me, you're gonna have to show your nose to make him mess up, because right now you're just riding behind him. And sure enough, I showed him my nose, and he pushed up a couple corners later, and I got underneath Alan and just set sail.
You got to change the red on that truck to blue so I don't keep screwing that up between you and your brother. But yes,
I'm going to have to.
Brandon Mefford was our pole sitter tonight, so my mistake on that. Either way, a good run, man. You got this thing here, a checkered flag. I think it's your second win of the season, and I believe it's only your second or third race of the season. So far that number is looking pretty sharp. What are your thoughts next week going into Atlanta Motor Speedway? Obviously not a short track like we've got here at Martinsville, but that place, it's the old layout. It's going to chew up some tires. What's the game plan going there?
Oh, that's good news. I thought it was a new layout, and I didn't even want to go. I love the old layout. I love Atlanta. Chris is really good there. I'm sure Neil and Zach and all these guys in this league are going to be fast. So, the plan there is going to be truly to save tires, because that place will eat them up and be there at the end, and hopefully passing somebody for the lead or leading the whole race would be great.
Well, Brandon, again, congratulations on the victory here. Good luck again next week at Atlanta. I swear you keep putting yourself here in the top 3 just so you can talk about this upcoming race that you've got in the next week or so. If you want to go ahead and plug that, feel free.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. So to everybody out there listening, all the drivers, anybody watching, we have a benefit race next Friday, the 16th. We're raising money for 2 organizations that help children out who are going through a hard time in their lives. They're 2 great organizations. Last year we split $1,200 between the 2. This year we're looking for around $2,000. I think we're already at $1,600. So if anybody out there would like to help us reach that goal, send us some money or anything to help get some drivers and bring some awareness to this race, I'd be very appreciative. Please, Steve's shared it on the page. We'll get some more posts out there, but look for the AMA series. Brandon Mefford, Doug Wysocki, Tyler Hilton. Reach out to one of us. I'd love to see about 40 drivers in that race. So again, Steve, thanks for always giving me time to plug that in and bring awareness to that race. Thanks, man.
Not a problem at all, man. Congratulations on the win. That's kind of the benefits of being in the broadcast booth post-race. Before we let you go, Brandon, anybody else you need to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for the broadcast. You do a great job. I love watching, going back and watching these races and learning stuff from them. And then everybody in the league. Tonight was a short track, typical caution fest, but overall great race. Everybody in here is pretty respectable drivers. I can't thank them enough. And then thank my Falcon teammates. In the field tonight we had Chris Mefford, Doug Wysocki, myself, but we've got Troy and Tom and Matt and a couple other guys, Tyler. We all do this together, learn from each other. So thanks to them. And then again, thanks to Ellie's Place and Zoe's Place for riding on board with me in this red truck that I'm going to have to change the light blue so you guys can figure the Mefford brothers out.
One of these days we'll get it right. Brandon, again, congratulations on the win. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
It's Brandon Mefford, your race winner here at Martinsville. Next, we're going to go to Austin Purnell. Bring the great Purny up into the broadcast booth. Austin, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a good copy?
Yeah, I got you, Steve.
Austin Purnell, a P2 finish. You started 5th, so anything above that's always a win. Pretty close, though, to cracking down Brandon Mefford. Not quite enough. Was there anything that you could have done differently to maybe get up there to the back bumper of the 83, or was this all you had?
Yeah, I was basically giving it all I had. There's that last restart. I mean, I could have gave him the bumper, but I don't race like that. If I had to do that, I'd just assume coming second.
Well, either way, you looked good out there. You were up in that top 5 most of the night. Definitely a contender for the, really most of the race. We've seen you run a couple of races here as of late. You didn't make the whole season with us, but you're here. You're contending. What are your thoughts going into Atlanta Motor Speedway next week? Certainly a much different racetrack than Martinsville. Going to wear some tires out. Is that kind of your forte or not so much?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, not so much really, but you never know. I didn't think I'd run good tonight here in Martinsville and ended up second. So we'll just have to wait and see, I reckon.
Well, Austin, again, congratulations on P2. We're going to let you go to get to Drew Blaze here, but before we do, is there anybody else that you need to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Hyatt's Food Cleaning, Smoky Days Barbecue, and Casual Pines Golf Course. Of course, y'all doing the broadcast.
All right, Austin. Well, thanks for the kind words, man. Good luck next week in Atlanta. Thanks for talking to us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It was Austin Purnell, driver, the number 32, Ronnie Hamlet Construction Chevrolet. Next, we're going to go to Drew Blaze, our 3rd place finisher. Pull Drew up into the broadcast booth. Drew, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Drew Blaze, another top 3 finish for the Lone Star Racing in the Draft Dense Zones number 1. Not a terrible race for you. Not what we typically see with you right there in the front the entire time, but a solid top 3 finish. I do have to ask, as far as restarts were concerned, we did see a few times you kind of hanging back there and kind of waiting for the leader to fire. It didn't seem to be very advantageous to you. Was there some strategy involved in that, or what was the deal there?
No, it was not a strategy. Just the way the restart zone is, man, it's not good for the guy on the outside, and the guy on the inside can keep 40 and go the shorter way around, and you know, if you try to catch up to him as the guy on the outside, then you get black flags. So it's not an ideal place to be. I don't like the restart zone. I get what iRacing is trying to do, but don't think it's quite the right way to go about it.
Well, you talked to us last week, and your thoughts on Martinsville wasn't quite your cup of tea, so to speak. But next week we go to Atlanta Motor Speedway, the old layout, which is really abrasive on tires. A bit of a challenge to save tires. What's your mindset going into Atlanta Motor Speedway next week?
I'm excited to get back to 1.5 miles. I really like the high side at Atlanta, so we'll see how it works out. I think I have a little bit of a strategy. I've run quite a few races at Atlanta, especially in these trucks. So got a good strategy, and just gonna keep trying to keep these consistent finishes, and just podiums are good. I'd like to get another few wins here, especially in the playoffs. But we're just gonna see what happens, man. We're just gonna try to keep it up front and keep it clean.
Drew Blaze, certainly one to watch next week at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thanks for talking to us, Drew. Before we let you go, anybody else you want to thank?
Just got to thank In the Draft Podcast, the Dense Zones, Lone Star Racing, Mike Fahey, Justin Johnson, Brian Romer, and just, again, all my guys over at Lone Star. Thank you for putting on the broadcast and everything you do. Great. Looking forward to the next one.
All right, Drew. Well, good luck next week, man. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Drew Blaze, your 3rd place finisher here at Martinsville Speedway. Certainly looking forward to next week at Atlanta Motor Speedway, 1.5 miles, kind of where he gets his bread and butter, so to speak, and a challenging racetrack that's going to devour those Goodyear Racing Eagles next week. Should be a good race. really going to likely see things get pretty strung out in Atlanta next week. That's kind of what happens at these racetracks. The guys that know how to save tires and guys that don't, it becomes pretty evident usually in that first long green flag run that you may end up seeing. So it's going to be a challenge. But with that, let's take a look at the rest of our race results here from Martinsville. We talked to our top three, Mefford, Purnell, and Blaze. Fourth position went to Ellen DeFries. Led a bunch of laps here tonight. Again, Ellen DeFries, a SCAR veteran here in the series. Been around a long time. Led some laps. Had an opportunity at a win. Things just didn't quite go his way. Some contact with himself and Brian Rose late. Still a good battle back to get up into that top four. Zach Millett from the rear, not only at the beginning of the race, but also at the start of the last stage. He finishes P5. Brian Rose, strong car, strong truck early on, and really throughout the balance of the race. Thought he was in a good position there late. Caution came out late, and that was an advantage for him as well, but just could not seal the deal. P6 for Brian Rose. Thomas McMullen finished in the 7th position. 8th went to Chris Goins. Doug Wysocki, a top 10 finish in 9th. I think this is Doug's first SCAR race. Doug comes over from the IROC series. Keaton Burnett was 10th. Carson Conway finished P11. 12th position went to Neil Quick. Vincent Short was 13th. Mark Truxell 14th. Eddie Rose, a solid top 15 finish for the 88 truck. Rob Hattenbach 16th. Cook Quick was 17th. Chris Mefford, favorite tonight, ended up finishing 18th, 14 laps down. Jamie Kerr, early troubles tonight, was 19th. Bill Petroff was 20th. After really a solid run early, Will George 21st, 86 laps down. Tim Culp 22nd. Eric Dotson did not start, does not count. Tom Ridgway, I see that he did not take the green flag as well. Not sure exactly why. Possibly connection issue with the 3 truck. Usually he makes all of these, so unfortunately a last place finish for Tom Ridgway. So, Eric, your little giggle there tells me you're back. I know you were over in pit lane post-race trying to listen into some of the drivers and some arguments that may be going on down there. What did you hear from your end?
There were no arguments. Seemed like everybody kind of didn't talk to each other about it. But, I went and watched some replays with some drivers and gave my take on what happened. And a couple drivers are going to apologize to other drivers. It's short track. I mean, you got to expect it, and hopefully they can put it behind them going into Atlanta. I mean, that's our last regular season race next week. I know everybody's going to be trying to get as much points as they can going into the playoffs.
It is a short track. We kind of talked about that going in. I mean, the name of the race was the Violence in the Ville 125. I mean, you kind of had to expect some tempers to flare, tempers to certainly get short, and a lot of bent sheet metal, which we had pretty much right off the bat. Will Sophia Jones, no arguments at Marty. Yeah, I bet you there were, Will. I just we weren't privy to them, at least post-race. A lot of them, I believe, happened mid-race, but bunch of hurt feelings. I'm sure we'll get it straightened out before we go to Atlanta. That is a tough place to have an angry or a short temper going into there. You don't want to wreck guys. Obviously, it's a sim. You're not going to really hurt anybody per se, but you do run the risk of taking out a significant portion of the field, and you just don't want to do that as a payback. You also don't want to do it this early on. We're getting into the playoffs here pretty soon. If you're going to pay a guy back, you want to do it when it really counts and when it really matters. So we'll have a lot to see. Again, Atlanta Motor Speedway next week. That'll be certainly a good one to watch. Then after that, first race of the playoffs, we go to Richmond on the 27th, and then October 4th, we've got Eldora on the dirt. October 11th, we've got Kansas Speedway. Then we go to Hickory on October 18th. Watkins Glen International, October 25th. Certainly looking forward to that one. Man, if I could get out there and turn some laps, I would certainly do it. But I'll tell you right now, no matter what the circumstances are, I'm going to put my money on Zach Millett for that one, unless he just happens to get caught up in a wreck. I had my share of good luck at the road courses in SCAR, but he is lights out. He's faster than me most of the time. I think he's got this one in the bag as long as he can stay out of trouble. Then November 1st, we got Michigan, Bristol, November 8th. November 15th, we go to Phoenix Raceway with the open dog leg. The 22nd of November, we're in Las Vegas. And then the final race of the year at Talladega, the Dega Decision Maker. That'll be November 29th at, of course, Talladega Super Speedway. So still plenty of racing action left all the way into the end of November. It's not even quite fall yet, so we got plenty to go. Lots of things to change. I I don't know. I can't wait to see how it's going to progress throughout the rest of the season. What about you, Eric?
Me neither. I mean, these guys has put on a great show, and I think that the playoffs are going to be an awesome experience. I mean, you really don't know who can win this. I mean, we got so many great drivers that it's just not like, hey, this guy's going to win it. There's so many options.
Speaking of winners, who was your pick tonight?
I had the 6 of Chris Goins.
Oh, who was mine again?
Yeah, I see what you're doing here.
I just had to rub it in a little bit. I know I picked him last week and it didn't work out, but yes, Brandon Mefford. Steve's pick at HBR TV. Once again, I'll take top honors. But you keep picking guys, they're going to keep crashing. So sorry for whoever is picked by Eric next week, but good luck. That's all I can say.
That's the regular season. We start the playoffs in 2 weeks.
Fair enough. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for us. We've gone through our race results. We've talked about our thoughts and prayers and whatever we're going to call it going into next week at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thank you guys all for watching. For Eric Dotson, I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV. Congratulating Brandon Mefford on the win tonight in the Violence in the Ville 125, presented by Black Acid Custom Racing Apparel. Thanks for watching, everybody. Join us next week. Atlanta Motor Speedway. Have a good night.